This is NCAA Division III national champion John Boyle from WNE. Not sure what that is. It's college, obviously, but I'm not sure, where it is. Versus Brandon Buckingham from UMCB. I believe that's University of Maryland, Baltimore County, because I remember Brandon told me that he wrestled in Baltimore, that he went to college in Baltimore. And right away, without even seeing anything, this is crazy. This rap job that they did. You can that's that's protecting a knee injury, right? You'll notice here, right, and here on Brandon. I'm not sure if he's got another one, but you'll notice they have the pads on their knees, right? That's to pad the knee a little bit, but what it's really for is to make sure that you don't get too sweaty, right? Because if you are on wrestling mats, right, and you shoot in and you're really sweaty, let's say it's like the end of practice, you'll glide. You'll like your knee will hit the ground and it'll like slide on the mat. It's kind of funny, almost kind of fun in a way, right? But you can't have that in a match because if you're gliding around like that on the mat, you're losing power. You need friction, all right? You need grip, all right? You need a grip, and that's why those things are there. But what it looks like on Brandon's knee is not only does he have the pad on there, but it also looks like he has an extra brace on there, and then it's also wrapped up, which is pretty insane. Wrestlers are crazy like that because most people, if they fuck their knee up like that, they're just out for the season. But wrestlers are the types where it's like there's a story from Chael Sonnen that goes something like there was a guy at his state championship, right? And he busted his knee, and the athletic trainer was like, "Yo, like he's done," and his coach was like, "Why is he done though? Like." Everything's blown out, right? His entire knee is blown out. He's torn everything, right? So why is he done? Like it can't get any worse. I'm butchering this, but that's how crazy wrestlers are. Is that when they fuck their knee up and everything is just blown out, they're like, well, it can't get any worse. There's nothing else to tear, so I guess I'll just work through it. It's pretty insane. All right, but with that said, enough waffling on here. All right, we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna get to it now. This is Brandon. All right, this is Mr. John Boyle. All right. All right. So here we have a tie up, going forehead to forehead. So they're just trying to jockey for position right now. Ooh. So what Brandon has right here is an underhook. This is a good position. He isn't doing too much with it right this second. I just wanted to highlight that. And in addition to that, they were going forehead to forehead, which is a good thing. And this is something that I would assume at the college level you see a lot less of, right? But wrestlers, when they tie up, right, they tend to go ear to ear, meaning my ear is here and his ear is there, right? And that's kind of a dumb way to do it because at the end of the day, you're kind of giving him a bit too much of a fair shake, right? At the end of the day, this is kind of a fight. It basically is a fight, right? It's just there's no punching or anything like that. You don't want to let him have anything more than you absolutely positively have to let him have, right? So it's a smart move, I think, on both of them, right? Because if John Boyle didn't care, he'd probably just let Brandon put his forehead into his temple, which would be a bad thing for him. So, that's a good thing on both their ends. So Brandon still got the underhook. All right, he ends up shucking him off. Brandon going for the tie up. He's got the inside right now. Oh, underhook. Looks like he's trying to bulldog him. He was going for what looked like a bulldog. So Mr. Boyle drops a level. Doesn't end up actually doing anything with it though. Another tie up. They're both being really careful. They're both being nice and they're taking their time. They're not rushing anything, which is a good thing. So Brandon was trying to control the arm. He was, but he ended up letting go. There's a snap down from Brandon. So now Boyle's got an underhook. Brandon ends up getting out of it, and he ends up going for the tie up again. Oh, oh man, that was a pretty nice throw from a Boyle. Right now, Brandon's trying to fight it. I don't think there was any points awarded yet. I don't believe there was. But right now we're kind of in a scramble right now. Brandon's trying to fight it. Wow, nice. He ends up getting into the north-south position and he's sprawled out. Looks like he's got a front headlock right now. I believe he does. Yes, I believe that is a front headlock. So they ended up. I believe they just called that a stalemate. I'm not sure if that was the end of the round or not. The referee called neutral, so I would assume they were just calling the stalemate. Either that or they were out of bounds. So what Brandon wants to do is use his height because he's like mad tall compared to this guy, right? He wants to use his length and use his arms long, right? Keep his arms long. So it looks like nope. So tying up, snap down from Brandon. They both seem kind of stumped right now. I think they're both just kind of not sure of what to do. John had the throw, right? I think that's because Brandon kind of was walking into him, so he just went for it and he got it. But I don't think either of them are really 100% on what they should be doing right now. They're both being nice and careful, but they both honestly kind of look a little bit confused. John Boyle dropping a level. Brandon drops a level. He ends up trying to snatch the single, but he ends up letting it go. I don't think he necessarily would have ended up getting it, but it was interesting to see how deep he was able to get in before John ended up dropping. So what they just did right there, I'm gonna say, that little thing right there in between rounds 1 and 2, they end up flipping a coin, right? There's a red and a green, and whichever it ends up landing on, right? Whoever had the corresponding color. There's two colors here. It's either red or green right here. And whoever ends up winning the coin toss, they get to decide whether they want top, bottom, or neutral. Okay, top and bottom refers to the referee's position, right? You're either on top of the referee's position or you're in the bottom position for the referee's position. What's going on, based Alcatraz? But I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it was John who ended up winning. He ended up deciding to go neutral, which is interesting because there hasn't been too much in the way of neutral right now, which you would think that given that fact, he would probably want to either go bottom or even potentially top to try and get the pin. I think he was probably riding high after he ended up hitting that throw. He probably thought that he hit it. It was nice. It didn't quite end up going anywhere, but it was enough for him to feel like he should stay in neutral, right? Basically standing up. They're both standing up. All right, so this is round 2 right now. So John ends up trying to reach for the single. I think he might have just been testing what Brandon would end up doing if he went for a single leg though. So John bailing out of the tie up. See, that's what Brandon wants to do. He wants to use his rear hand to really kind of keep him at a distance and keep him uncomfortable. Brandon looks kind of tired. So fake up top, and then he ends up faking to the bottom. Level changes like that, you hit enough of them, and the guy that you're wrestling with ends up being desensitized to him, and he stops reacting to him. And eventually, you actually go for it for real. And before they realize it's the real one this time, they're on the ground, right? So those things aren't for nothing. Oh, there it is, double leg. Oh man. Brandon reaching through. Oh, oh man. So right now Brandon's reaching through for the leg. That's kind of what's stopping him. Uh-oh. Oh man, he's going for the spladle. He's going for the spladle and he's got it. Wow, he has got it. So right now he's accruing back points. That's why the referee is counting. Wow, okay. John ended up getting out of it. But Brandon's in a decent position right now. He's carrying John's weight, but he's got his leg in a way that he could have ended up trying to climb up. So right now Brandon is winning. He ended up getting back points, and the referee ended up calling a stalemate. I believe it's been a long time for me, right? I forget exactly everything that when it comes down to it, right? That the referee will show, right? There was probably blood time. That's probably why that's probably why John ended up having to get his stuff together. So that was the referee's position that I was referring to. Brandon ended up on top because he was in a dominant position when the action was stopped. And as you can see, John is on bottom. It's John's job to try and get out. If he gets out, he gets at least 2 points, depending on what ends up happening, right? Brandon has to keep him down. And if Brandon keeps him down, he actually doesn't get any points. The benefit for Brandon is that he is in a dominant position. So, really what he's going for is a pin, right? At the very least, he's trying to keep him down, but he's trying to work for a pin. All right, so Brandon ended up working out to the side. I believe that was the end of round 2, and this is round 3. I believe Brandon ended up choosing neutral. Oh, ooh, okay, that was pretty slick. Looks like he almost hit a throw by, and he ended up hitting that low single. That was pretty cool. I didn't quite catch it, but it was slick. John ends up letting him up because he's trying to get back on points. Instead of working for back points, he decided he'd just take him down, let Brandon get the one for the escape, and then shoot in. So that's a double leg takedown right now. I don't believe there's any. Ooh, that was smart wrestling from Brandon, right? Because there was no points awarded, and since he was close to the outside, he ended up trying to get out so that a stop in the action would be called. This is called we used to call that a fresh start when I was in high school. We used to hear our coach yelling, fresh start, fresh start. But anyway, John seems to be open up a lot more. I believe Brandon is still winning right now. I could be wrong, but I do believe he's still winning. So right now, Brandon just kind of has to coast, which is a lot easier said than done when you got a guy who's really, ooh, yeah, that looked like, yeah, it looked like he tried to hit that same throw by to a single leg again. That's really slick. I'm gonna have to study that and start trying to use that. I think that's a good big boy move. I in theory, it's a good big boy move. So we got what looks like 2-on-1. Oh man, he ends up shooting in, but Brandon ends up getting the sprawl. He's working for it though, and nothing. Good, there you go. Again, that I don't think Brandon necessarily meant to end up going out that time, but it was smart wrestling to hit that sprawl in the way that he did because he knew that was going to reset. So you have what's his face? John. He ends up shooting in for the single, but he ends up bailing out. It was more of a fake than anything. So we got a 2-on-1 from John. See, like I said, Brandon wants to keep him at his length, right? He doesn't want John getting in. An attempt at a snatch single from John. It ends up not working out. So seems like Brandon's coach is telling him to be a little bit more aggressive. So we got a sprawl right now. Oh, yeah. I think they called that. I think they called that. I think that was a safety thing. So he goes for the head tap and then the double leg. And I believe that's time. 7-2. Wow. That's really good. So that was a wrestling match, and not just any wrestling match. Like I said, that was a D3 national champion. Now, wrestling is one of those sports. It's not like any sport out there. You can get good at football in 4 years and play Division 2, Division 3 football. Some people are so good right out the gate, especially if they have a physical advantage, right? That they start playing in high school and they make it to like a D1 school, right? You can get really good at football really quick. Baseball, not as much, but again, you can make it to D3 baseball and be semi competitive, right? Even if you're not that good. Wrestling is not one of those things. Wrestling is one of those things where even the D3 club captains are absolute animals in a way that would seriously blow your mind if you saw them in action or if you had to really go up against one of them. You know, it's pretty insane. So to have a Division 3 national champion and Brandon ended up beating this guy, that says something, you know. And there's a reason why I've said in the past that I think Brandon's a better grappler than me, right? I do believe Brandon is better overall as a grappler than I am, right? He's been doing it for a lot longer than I have. He just hasn't been doing jiu-jitsu for as long as I have, right? But he's one of those guys that when he gets a hold of you, I remember sparring with him, right? And we were going over clinching and stuff like that. And when he would get a hold of me, I'd just be like, oh, shit. it had happened. He'd get me, and I'd be like, oh man, damn. Like, this guy, this is a different breed. This is a different animal, you know? And I was listening to his live stream before this, and he said he wants to get back on the mats, but he's dealing with some stuff. You know, I would assume it's a knee injury. In fact, he said it was a knee injury, and then there was also some back issues that he's dealing with. Such is life when you are a lifelong athlete and you've been doing martial arts for a long time. It's crazy what happens to your body at such a young age. But like, if he can, that's going to be crazy, and I'm going to be really excited to see footage of that. You know, I'll definitely end up reacting to some of the footage that he has of that, because that's going to be really cool. You know, I'll see if I can get him to come up here, and maybe we'll enter a tournament together. There's one wrestling tournament around here